Ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to something that I think I've wanted to do for a while, but I haven't really got the time to do it. Now there's the international break. I've got tons of time on my hands, and I think that today we're going to come out with this video. Today's video is going to be, as you've seen in the title, which is better, the Premier League All-Stars or the Laliga All-Stars? And I think this is a topic that's always been around for years, I think already, maybe 20 years already. It's always been a debated topic because the two leagues are so good in quality. Recently, we've seen the superiority of the Premier League, but I think this year, at least for La Liga, I think has definitely been a lot better. And basically, this is just gonna go through the lineup, and I'm gonna put my thoughts on it. I'm reacting to a Saturday Social video on it, and of course, I'm gonna pause it between and talk about my opinions on these certain players and if I agree with them or not. So, without further ado, let's get into the video.
A lot of debate this week, Harry, about which league's got the strongest array of players. I've seen it on social media, on radio and TV, etc., particularly La Liga and Premier League. So we thought now would be the perfect time. Well, we did until the board collapsed. And as
This is my first time seeing it
Faisal,
too.
who's a Real Madrid fan,
yeah,
watches a lot of La Liga. Alex, Arsenal fan, watches a lot of the Premier League. We thought this would be the perfect time to debate. Do you want to hit us with the all-important rules?
the all-important rules, yes. So we've tasked our guests with building the strongest 11 made up of current Premier League and La Liga players. Alex, as the Arsenal fan, is going to select his Premier League picks, and Faisal, of course, as the Real Madrid fan, is going to pick his strongest 11 from La Liga. We'll go position by position. Smithy and I will be the all-important judges. We'll decide which name goes up on the board. But importantly for this one,
I will say this year, I think it's going to be a lot more in the favor of La Liga, as we've seen a lot more talents, at least, as you could say, in the La Liga or whatever. The midfield might be heavily La Liga too, and I just think La Liga will really dominate in this one.
true fantasy football style, they don't have to be playing right now.
Ooh,
they could be injured. This is the ultimate team when everyone
She just said injuries can count, so that actually makes it a lot more spicy.
is fit. You're already giving me the side eye. Those
He's not happy with that.
Don't shoot the
not happy.
messenger. So let's start then with our goalkeeper.
Can I just say as well, because we've lost a prop, should we build as we traditionally used to do with the goalkeeper at the top?
Let's do it.
Coming down, if that's all right.
yeah?
Okay, so first up then,
Speaking of top.
goalkeeper. I mean, yeah, you can't argue with this one, can you?
Come on.
And
You're-
you can't argue with this one as well.
Oh.
Look, we all watch him against Pitt.
Did you just say Jan Oblak? Jan Oblak. After the Madrid derby, are we really still 100% with this guy? I'm not gonna lie, bro. Jan Oblak, I'm not a fan, bro. Like, I understand the hype. I think he's a great keeper, but the fact they didn't put Courtois up really shocks me because I know Faisal's a Madrid fan, and I'm actually very surprised they didn't go with Courtois. I think you got to go Alisson, but still, Jan Oblak. When there's players like Ter Stegen and Courtois, it kind of confuses me.
I think this is the best shot stopper I've ever seen.
In football history?
Yes, in my opinion.
Wow.
Whoa.
And then on the ball, I think sometimes because of that he gets underrated. Like the ball he plays to Nunes for the knockdown for Elliott. So, like he's unbelievable.
He always kicks off the attacks as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's what you mentioned there. I think what a lot of people don't realise if they don't watch Liverpool week in, week out is how important he is in building up the play. And for a goalkeeper, how many goalkeepers can you really say that about?
agreed.
Incredible. But you don't...
Ederson. Onana should be doing it, but he's not doing it. I mean, Ederson, I think, is a great example, but I think he does it so much better. And to say that Alisson's main attribute, or big attribute, is to be setting up the attack is weird.
You don't sound like an Arsenal fan when you're talking about how amazing he is.
For a player of this quality, I think you've got to put your bias aside.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable.
Who are you going for then? Who are you
I'm
putting
going
up
with
against him?
Oblak, the fewest goals conceded in Europe, the highest save
not gonna
percentage. Alisson has done well, but when Keller has
Oblak's weird.
come in, Keller's done well. When Oblak goes out, Atletico doesn't win.
Is that not credit to Kelleher, though, rather than...
You can say the same with Roger. You can say that with a lot of players. Just to say that Jan Oblak, when he's injured, is making an impact on the team. Sure, he is. I think he does make an impact. But the fact that you're saying that he's the main reason of that is kind of weird to me. And like I said, I love Faisal. I think Faisal is a great content creator. But to put... I don't know. That confuses me. That personally confuses me. I'll let it off for this one. I have to stop. I have to stop interrupting and let the video play. But I don't know. Weird shout for me.
The credit to Keller, but also speaks volumes about they've got two good replacement. When this guy goes out, Atletico doesn't win, and when he's in the team, they are in contention to win a treble.
Intrigued you've gone Oblak over Courtois. I mean, I know, obviously, great pick, but
Exactly.
Real Madrid fan yourself.
Oblak has been the best goalkeeper in the world this season, and Atletico.
Are we gonna let that slide? best goalkeeper in this year. I don't know, man. I think Alisson's been the better keeper this year. Even Courtois, I could say. I know he's been injured in the beginning, but like, I don't know. Jan Oblak being the best. Faisal, you're questioning my belief in you.
Contention for a treble because of one other person and this guy mainly.
Yeah, drawn most clean sheets in La Liga this season. He's been brilliant. I feel like with the week he's had and the argument, but I feel like we edged just for Alisson personally.
A bit of recency
also, I think
bias
Harry
in there.
might walk out if we didn't go
There you
Alisson
go.
because
That's a good pick.
you absolutely adore him, don't you?
I mean, especially after the midweek game against PSG.
A bit of
Incredible.
recency bias and
Fair enough. Right,
No
we're on to
recency
right
bias.
back.
Right back.
Let's see who you've gone with.
I mean, you gotta go Trent. You gotta go Trent here.
Oh, another Liverpool player.
and I've gone with Jules Koundé.
Okay.
I mean, listen, I
Not
can't
a
say
bad
nothing
shout.
bad about my future player that's going to go. But in terms,
Jules Koundé isn't actually a bad shout. I actually think that's a pretty good shout. But I probably would go Carvajal if you think about it. I don't know. That's a tough one. That one's good. It's up for debate, but I think Trent's winning this one clearly.
of what Jules Koundé has done this season, the impact, the goals, the assists, and I think he's been a better defender this season for Barcelona. It's a new role, and I think
Yeah, it's an important point now, obviously, because he's moved roles and he's
moved
adapted
from a
to that,
centre back to a right back
centre back to right
under
back.
this Hansi Flick system. He, for me, has been an incredible player. But
I think fullbacks are like almost like the customised thing for managers. Like it's the one thing they really sort of put their stamp on. I think it depends what you want. Like, on my nerdy maps that I look at in terms of threat, etc., everyone's got a zone where they threaten. Trent's got the whole right-hand side. He is just, in terms of in possession, he's unbelievable. Look, you can look at dribble pass numbers, etc. I think there's always going to be that question mark over him, unfortunately, because of how good he's on the ball. But to me, this is
Do you feel that criticism's fair, the defensive side of things?
I think
It's so focused on
it gets
isn't
overblown, I think. Look, yeah, it's probably the weaker part of his game, but that's because he's so good. Going
Yeah.
forward, do you know what I mean?
I agree. I think he's defensively he's better than what people think he is. And I think the game against Paris Saint-Germain deserves a lot of credit. I think he did very well against Paris Saint-Germain.
He did, he did, yeah.
I think
did
people
amazing.
have got to find something. They've got to give you something, and that's
I
it.
agree with that. I think that's because he's so good going forward that people make it's almost overplayed because he is good
No one can do
defensively as
both,
well.
yeah.
Yeah. Are you happy? Almost like you were happy to concede this
Absolutely.
because.
No, for me, Trent is
There we go.
for me, Trent is the best right back.
Okay, stick Trent on then. Faisal has
Okay.
conceded his
Yeah, Trent easily wins that.
own picks.
Conceded. Are you going to
Slightly
concede?
towards you. Slightly towards you.
Yeah, a bit
He
more.
plays out wide, doesn't he? Come on, there we go.
Okay, let's go then next with the
Two
centre-back
centre-backs.
pairing. We want to
By the
see
way, Harry, you're
both of
very
them.
first time on the show. Liverpool fan, two Liverpool
I'm
players.
not even trying to sway them. And now next up, I believe
sorry,
we've got
Wow.
another Liverpool
Look
player
at
in
us.
here now. This one's fair enough, though, isn't it, Alex? Virgil van Dijk, Saliba. Talk us through that.
Yeah, I think
I really like that one. That's really good, and it's tough for La Liga to bring up better defenders. I'm not surprised he didn't go with the Rujo, but I kind of am. And Rudiger, I think Rudiger definitely gets a shout out. Although I don't think he's been as good. This is this season, right? Is this on form? Okay, if it's on form, Kubarsi probably makes it in. I would say Kubarsi makes it in. But then again, Saliba and Van Dijk, I'd probably go Van Dijk and Kubarsi.
look, in terms of the level, like sometimes these guys look like they're playing their 18-year-olds.
Also, give Konate a shout. Konate is a baller, and he deserves a shout in this one.
Playing U14 football. I mean, it really does look that simple. I think you could argue either way. I think Saliba, in terms of talent, what I've seen at my club, he's right up there. And Virgil speaks for himself.
We had Gabriel earlier, and now we've got Saliba in. Interesting.
I'll be honest. I will concede one of my picks.
Oh, okay.
However, there's one person I'm not conceding. I'm very happy.
Well,
to
let's see.
concede.
Just hold them up so we can see them.
I'm very
There we
happy
go.
to concede.
There we go. Nice and still.
Robin de Lamont. I think he's done well this season.
Yeah.
New signing, 40 million.
Yeah.
Has improved the back line of Atletico alongside Oblak. I'm happy to. You know what? I'll put him down.
Wow. Okay.
But you're sticking with him.
However,
Fair
I'm
enough,
not conceding Kubarsi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kubarsi
incredible.
this season has been absolutely incredible in terms of passing in the final third. He's the
Yeah.
highest of any player in the world. He is amongst the best centre-backs in the world. And for me, it would be Kubarsi and Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah.
I don't know what you
That's what I said.
think, but for me, Kubarsi has to be in there.
Do you know what? I would agree with that in terms of I think because Barca are having such a good season and obviously a lot is made of their attacking prowess and their attacking threat. It can go under the radar how good he's been. Bear in mind he's only 18 years of age still. He's made 36 starts, which is the most of any player aged 18 or younger in Europe's top 5 leagues. and he's got the most touches and passes in La Liga this season, with a passing accuracy of 93% for the position he plays
Last time I was here, I
He's
said
incredible.
He's the best ball player as a centre back. He's only 18 years old.
Alex, are you happy with Van Dijk and Kabasi? Or I know you're an Arsenal fan.
No, but,
okay.
but I might have to do it. Look, I think you could maybe make an argument that Saliba was a touch better last year. You can maybe make that argument. So if we want to do that, then
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still looking very Liverpool on this board, isn't
A
it?
bit Premier League bias as well. So I think it's good that we've given Sebastian the props he deserves.
That's going to change as we go
Let's
through,
go with-
particularly in midfield. Let's see.
Yeah, let's look at left backs then. Who you gone with?
For me,
This is a tough one, but I think you gotta go Guardiola here. I'm trying to think who gets in for the what is it, La Liga? Balde, Alejandro Balde. I think he'd be my pick, but that's actually a good one. But I think Guardiola makes it.
best left back so far this season
Yeah,
in the
there you
world. And it's very weird for me to say this as a Madrid fan, but Balde. I think Balde this season has been incredible. He's been important in the Hansi Flick system, the runs into the final third. Guardiola is a good choice, and I would have had Guardiola, but City's form and his poor defensive ability, he's had so many howlers for me. I'm not putting Guardiola in there.
So many howlers. I don't know if he's had many
howlers.
Every game that I watch City, I'm expecting Guardiola to concede a mistake, and it's
I
been
think that's a bit
I
harsh.
think
Every-
that's fair.
That is weird. I'm not gonna lie, from Faisal, because I don't think Guardiola is that bad defensively. I get he's bad defensively, and I know he's been called out for that. But to say that every game you go into saying you're thinking that there's gonna be a mistake is a bit weird for me.
Go to the slump that City could barely win in. They had one win in 15 games, 16 games. He was one of the main responsibilities for that. I'm not putting.
I've got to give context to that, sorry, because he has got most possession won, duels won, sprints and distance in the Premier League for Man City this season. He's also chipped in with 5 goals, top Premier League defending goal scorer as well. So for a bit of context, I think
You're giving me attacking stats.
But I think you're being a bit harsh on him there.
I know. Look, I think occasionally there's moments, but look, there's 4 players who I know this is an attacking stat, but there's 4 players with 8 or more big chances created in one game in the Premier League: De Bruyne, Saka, Kulusevski, and Gvardiol.
Okay, and what about some defensive stats?
But you've had them just there. But also, I think, look, there's moments where Gvardiol can get caught out, but in terms of the quality he brings all over the pitch, this is a freak profile. He's unbelievable.
He's a freak. I agree. As a better left back, I would even put Akanji in there or someone else in there.
But how old is he? 23?
For me, Balde, for me, going forward, has done well, as good as him in terms of the system that Barcelona has done. And in terms of defensively, he's a better defender.
I know what you mean in terms of the actual position. Do we edge with Balde here because of obviously Guardiola's different positions
I
and
think
stuff?
if we're talking out and out left
Yeah.
back, we're bringing in a lot of attacking stats there, which I do agree with, and I don't really agree with the howlers comment.
No.
However, I do feel like, that's probably just gone with it.
I don't know, man. For me, that's close. I think I'd put Guardiola in. As much as I like Balde, I just feel like Guardiola makes it for me. I don't know. That's a tough one. But I get it. It's Faisal got to get some players on the board. But I don't know, man. I still would probably say Guardiola. That's an interesting one.
There we go. Quite a decent split there. Only 2 teams.
I know, only 2 teams.
We're going to change
Good
it.
split, but only across 2
Change
teams
that
in
now.
2 whole leagues. Okay, let's go for defensive midfielder.
Oh,
a player.
Rodri.
Well, it's ultimate. We did say injured players are allowed. Do you feel like you've realised how crucial he is now that he's not been in the side?
It's that simple. It's the Ballon d'Or winner, the best midfielder in the world. And you see what happens when City don't have him. It's that simple.
Yeah, Rodri definitely makes it in for this one. It's got to be Rodri.
I think that's a cheat code. I think he hasn't played this season, and I've got.
It's allowed. It's in the rules.
I've got Fede, and it pains. No,
Right back.
He's played right back this season. He's done well, but Fede for me is important to our midfield. You guys don't understand the value that he brings. Like, as I said earlier, take him out, Madrid are nowhere near the title contention they are.
As an engine, Fede Valverde is absolutely, it's insane the numbers he does. But this is the best midfielder in the world.
Ballon d'Or
This is
winner
the
as
best.
well.
No, this is the no. Let's just correct it here. This is the best defensive midfielder.
Well,
in the
that's what
world.
we're doing.
That is the position that we're talking
That is
about.
very harsh. Okay, you know what? Fair enough.
Accidentally
just realised what
conceded
we're
there.
doing.
Fair enough.
He's conceded himself.
He's
Sorry.
not a defensive midfielder. Fair
Alex
enough.
isn't even waiting for us. He's putting the magnet on the board. He's not waiting.
He better put Valverde somewhere else though. He better, because Valverde is a baller, and come on, you've got to put Valverde in, even if like you've put him in this one, Valverde's got to be in this team.
For our judgment.
Ballon d'Or winner Rodri makes it in. Let's have a look at your next two midfielders then to see how you've done it as a
This is
as a
rogue.
pair.
This is rogue.
Oh, I'd quite like to come to Harriet here actually, because you've gone McAllister, but is there not another Liverpool player that should be in this for you?
I think absolutely, and it would be, well, Szoboszlai, but I was even going to say Gravenberch, because I know maybe he'd fall into more of that Rodri role, but
Yeah, I am surprised that he didn't put Gravenberch in, because I think Gravenberch has been Liverpool's guy. So I'm kind of surprised by that. I am kind of shocked by that.
the fact that Arne Slot's come in and he's totally changed his position, his profile, and he's absolutely shone this season. For me, he's been the most surprise package.
Yeah.
I know you've got so many stars in that Liverpool side, but Gravenberch, for me, would edge it over McAllister. Having said that, I do think he's an incredible player and also comes up with goals in really crucial moments this season.
Yeah.
Why have you gone with him?
Well,
over
I think you could
Gravenberch?
argue any of the Liverpool players. The only reason Gravenberch is because you've got
Szoboszlai as well recently,
'cause
like you
you've got Rodri.
mentioned.
It's a bit more sample with McAllister.
Yeah.
This guy can do everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and so can this guy, by the way. But he can do everything. And I think in terms of like block numbers, he really helps out Robertson on the left-hand side, scores bangers. Like I think someone from Liverpool has to be in this midfield, in my opinion. And I think McAllister's a good shout. You could pick someone else as well.
Would you concede him for Declan? Would you concede Declan Rice?
I'm picking
for him,
Rice
though?
over
You're picking
McAllister,
Rice over
100%, yeah,
McAllister.
yeah.
Okay, what are your picks?
I've got the best midfielder in the world and the second best midfielder in the world. And Jude.
That's vile not to put Valverde in there. I'm telling you, that is a steal. That's a steal, I'm telling you. But I think those are two good picks.
Pedri fan, aren't you?
And Jude and Pedri. Jude for me is Mr. Real Madrid this season, and we wouldn't be nowhere near if it wasn't. Sorry for Jude, Mr. Jude Bellingham and Pedri. Barcelona's success comes down to Pedri. I appreciate your selection in terms of. I think Alexis has done very well this season, and I think Declan Rice is having an underrated season. But when it comes to the big boys, you can't question it. And I think these two has been the best two midfielders in the world this season.
I'll concede on Jude. I think I'll be happy with that. But
Okay.
with Rice, I just want to put one more thing forward. Since the start of 2025, he's got like 8 more big chances greater than Salah. And he could be, I think, in my opinion, Rice could be a world-class 6, could be a world-class centre-back, and could be a world-class 8. And by the way, while we've not had
I agree with him on the 8 and the 6, but centre back is crazy. You cannot have Rice as a world class centre back. That is the only issue with what he said. I think for me, I'd go Rice and Pedri because I think Bellingham hasn't been as good as Pedri. But for me, it's got to be Pedri and Rice. I know Faisal's going to say Bellingham. I know he is, but I think it should be Rice and Pedri.
the number 9, he's been on the last line as well. He's a machine, Rice.
So
good
So
answer.
he's conceding Bellingham, so put Bellingham up.
Bellingham, yeah.
And
give you
it's between,
Bellingham.
it's between Declan Rice and Pedri. Faisal.
I'll be honest.
Sample over a wider
Not putting in Pedri is an absolute robbery.
sample, because Pedri's had the injuries and stuff. I think Rice has got to be in.
Pedri's injuries was last season, not this season.
No, yeah,
We're
but
talking about this season, and in terms of Pedri this season, Pedri, you can. There is no world, Jupiter, Pluto, Earth. You can't tell me any
Planets,
world.
they are. Technically, yeah. They're all planets, yeah.
For you to tell me
Pluto.
Declan Rice has been better than Mr. Pedri this season.
Yes.
Yes, you said 6, 8, it's fine, it's cute.
I agree.
Pedri
It's cute.
has been one of the best midfielders this season.
It sounds like he's not going to...
Declan Rice is more than cute. He's an absolute. It depends what you want. Like if you want, quality on the ball, or that sort of controlling a game, Pedri. But in terms of the domination that we can do with Declan Rice, I think
The domination is there with Pedri as well, and the pivot that he's played. We're doing the best 11 of La Liga and Premier League. A best 11 combined has Pedri in it. It doesn't have a Declan Rice in it. I'll be honest, I am not conceding this
so
choice.
I'll go on.
You look like that. I think Faisal looks very angry if we're not going to go with
You know what?
Pedri.
I'm disappointed, as a matter of fact.
He's not angry, he's disappointed.
That's even worse.
It's like your dad.
Pedri not in the 11 is honestly, it's bad. It's a disgrace.
They're both unbelievable players. I'm not conceding Rice. I'm happy for you to.
What do you do this one, Harry? So, I mean, I feel like, considering Faisal's mentioned Pedri on about 4 occasions on this show already, that let's break down the numbers, show. Most distance in the Premier League for Arsenal this season, Declan Rice. Pedri, 40 appearances, 5 goals, 6 assists for Barca this season, most final third passes. They are quite different players, aren't they? So it's quite hard to actually navigate what we're going for in this midfield.
I'm
How
glad
about
you're
this?
talking,
How about this?
'cause I was about to
One
lie
last
down on the
point.
sofa. Go on.
Yeah, go on.
One last point.
It's gotta be Pedri.
If Pedri is an Arsenal player, Declan Rice doesn't start.
I disagree with that.
Declan Rice would not be a starter.
Declan Rice is a hugely important player for
It
Arsenal.
will be Jorginho, Pedri and Odegaard. He doesn't start.
It'd be Rice, Pedri, and Odegaard. Not Jorginho. But I think I like what he's saying, and I think Pedri would start over Rice.
Pedri has to be a starter on this team.
Completely disagree.
Why?
Because I think specifically Mikel Arteta and what he does in his game model, Rice is everything for him. Everything.
Okay,
I'm
well,
not considering my choice.
this is my first show, so you know what, Smithy, you're the experienced one.
Wow,
you
chuck me
do
right under
your
the bus as
thing.
well.
This is a big debate.
I think, by the way, a massive fan of Declan Rice. I think he's probably one of Arsenal's most important players. I think you're saying on this season how important he's been. Bearing in mind, Faisal had him as Barcelona's standout form player this season above Rafinha and Lewandowski. Probably just edged with Pedri, but I think that's one of the hardest ones we've done. So stick Pedri up, unless you want to.
There he is.
Arsenal player in this 11.
Well, you could have...
Can I have Saliba if you have this?
Mate, no.
Come on.
It's a tight one.
Same way, look,
I cannot
same
leave
way-
it. I cannot leave this without an Arsenal
The
player.
same way, I'm a Real Madrid fan, and I've got 3 Barcelona
leave here
players,
without an
and I've
Arsenal
got
player,
more Barcelona players.
Why don't you put him in the
12.
corner?
Right, let's go to the next.
Sub.
Yeah, let's go to the next position. Where do you want to go with next? On the wing.
Come on.
Yeah,
Let's
there
not
you
have a
go.
debate.
I mean, you know what?
Rice at right wing?
It's funny, we get stats on these players, and the list for Mo Salah was
So
actually too long. Like, I was copying and pasting it and thinking, have I made a mistake? Is this
Yeah.
for like 3 players worth? But he just continues to break records week after week, season after season.
This is a joke.
Where do you think he ranks in terms of, I think obviously he comes up in all of our debates that we do because of the numbers that he puts up consistently. Where does he rank in terms of greatest Premier League players ever? Not just wingers, but in terms of
He's top 3.
what his legacy is. You'd have him in your top 3, would
He's
you?
top 3. I think if this season he does what he does, and I think this season he is about to have the...
Yeah, Salah's probably top 3. I mean, I've seen people say Ronaldo under Salah, which is disgraceful. But I think, I think Salah's top 3. I think he's top 3.
greatest individual Premier League season of all time. No one is doing what he's doing. And if
Goals and assists. by the
goal
way.
and assist. And I think if he breaks Henri's record, and if he has a 30-20 season and wins the Premier League, wins a potential Champions League and a Ballon d'Or, he's doing Ronaldo and Messi numbers in the Premier
in the
League.
modern era.
Yeah,
I'm just going to say something that might sound like an excuse, but it's slightly is. Arsenal could have had the best season ever if you've still got the guy who's winning the Ballon d'Or in the other title contender. Do you know what I mean? I think a lot that's not really been. I think it gets taken out of context with Arsenal. People say, "Oh, Arsenal just had a terrible season." Well, hang on. There's the Ballon d'Or guy in the other team. Like that will take some
Ballon d'Or
beating.
guy.
Do you know what I mean?
Ballon d'Or
Like,
guy.
Okay, let's see who you had.
I mean, it's Salah's greatness is. I can't say nothing to him.
yeah.
He has to start.
But-
well, Lamine Yamal.
Show it.
Lamine Yamal.
Yeah, massive shout out to Lamine Yamal. He's got to be up there, but like, I don't know, man. I would love to put Lamine in, but that you can't when it comes to players like at the players of the size of Mo Salah. Like you can't, you just can't.
Yamal is absolutely incredible.
17 years old. So impressive.
Let's not normalise this. He's 17 years old, acting like he's playing as a 25-year-old. The assists, the numbers, the impact. Barcelona went on a tough period in November where they barely could win. He was injured for that whole month because that's how important he is.
Do you know what I think about Lamine Yamal as well? We often we get stats back and we often look at stats and numbers, but from an aesthetic point of view, you actually watch him play. His intelligence for a 17-year-old, like how he picks the pass, the positions that he gets in, he's so beyond his years in terms of where he's operating at.
I know football is all about winning, but for me, entertainment is one of them. He is, for me, the best entertainer in the world today.
Yeah.
Does it concern you he's playing so much at such a young age?
Yes, yes. I feel like it is a worry because Barcelona has had...
Similar thing happened with Saka, and this is a great thing that they've pointed out. Is it a concern that he's playing too much football? I think that's actually a great point to make. Because we look at players like Saka, who, outstanding player, but burnt out, got a massive injury, as we know of recent. And the same thing happened with Foden, who I think just like starting to burn out after how much football he's been playing. And it's like, I think that is a concern. And me, if I was managing Barca, would try to bring in someone else on that right wing that I can definitely interchange with Yamal. Because like, you can't let him play that many games. It's outrageous.
A track record with Ansu Fati and Pedri and Gavi that's had injuries with so many excessive games. But I think Hansi Flick has done well to manage that. He's incredible.
He's incredible, but are you conceding?
Sorry.
It's Mo Salah.
Okay, let's go to the left wing then. Alex, I feel like you've
I've
bent
cheated.
the rules slightly on
Basil,
this one.
thoughts on this legendary left winger that Alex has picked? Go Go on.
I've
Go on,
cheated
reveal
because he
yourself.
played
Put Saka
there
and
a
I
little bit
doubt.
for Newcastle. I'll put Isak.
Oh,
Because I knew exactly who.
What are we doing in here?
I knew exactly who he'd pick, and maybe fair enough. Look, Isak for me is not the best forward in the Premier League, but is the most complete forward in the Premier League. He can do.
Isak's crazy, bro. I thought he was gonna put Saka in there. Wait, why wouldn't? I'm guessing that he's thinking that he's gonna put Mbappe in at striker, and then Isak's gonna can't go. Honestly though, even then, I probably would put Isak over Mbappe. As much as I like Mbappe, it's still kind of tough. And putting Isak on the left is an absolute waste of position. Put Marcus Rashford in there.
Everything. Pace,
I know what you mean by that.
height,
Yeah.
link up, run in behind, drop in, either side. He's for me, Arsenal fans, go back and forth about whether we could sign him. If there's a sniff that we can get him, I want him.
I was going to say, we're going to have angry people in the comments because
Oh, yeah,
another
fine.
Arsenal fan with Isak's name in their mouth. It's common at the moment,
That's
isn't
fine.
it? How much of a difference do you think he would make to your team?
He would transform us. He'd transform us. And, supposedly he's the phrase is the apple of Mikel Arteta's eye. Actually, he's the apple of everyone's eye. Do you know what I mean? He's that good. I think the shame is, supposedly we looked at him when he was at Sociedad. I think something that a lot of Arsenal fans feel is they want to take more risks in the market, and that's why a lot of people are looking at Šeško and saying, is he the next guy? But for me, the frustration is with Arsenal, people will go, well, Arsenal need a win now forward, that that's the only way they're going to win the league. Then you suggest someone, you go, you couldn't get him then. Okay, well, we're stuck then. So we can't sign the guys who make us win the league, but we need to sign the guys who make us win the league. Let's put up the money. We've done £100 million for Declan Rice before. It would probably be way more than that. But if there's a sniff, and I think this is basically based on if Newcastle don't get Champions League football, maybe.
Yeah.
Agree, he's an incredible player, but I do
Incredible
feel
player, but as a left winger.
You've got a
He's played off the
pretty
left for
strong
Newcastle.
argument.
I'm bending the
back,
rules because I
haven't
knew
you?
who you'd pick.
Rafinha, if we're based on the season,
Rafinha
that's
wins,
nothing.
bro.
I mean, Salah is,
Rafinha
of course,
wins.
the Ballon d'Or winner. He is very close to that in terms of the numbers he's had. He, for me, is a GA machine. Even if he doesn't have a great game, you still expect him to score an assist. Like the other game, Benfica in the Champions League, away leg. But
I don't love that they keep saying Salah, was it Ballon d'Or winner? Because I think that Rafinha definitely gets a shout at least. But I see where they're coming from, and I think Rafinha so over Isak, miles ahead of Isak. And I think for them to, for him to put Isak on the left is goofy, I'm not going to lie. But Rafinha definitely was this one.
Arsenal had 10 players for 75 minutes. This guy comes in out of nowhere, scores the winning goal. He's been incredible, and what a player.
25 goals in all comps, career best that is, by the way. I think
Career best.
I think with that, the fact that you picked a player out of position, I think we've got to go Rafinha. But I think, shout out for Isak as well. By the way, 7th quickest Premier League player ever to 50 Premier League goals, Alexander Isak. What a player. But I think it's got to be Rafinha, isn't it?
I think Rafinha is the obvious choice for that
Okay,
one.
one
Yeah, it's
player.
gotta be
Now, this,
Rafinha.
again, Harry, you threw me under the bus. I'll let you have this one.
Okay.
The next one, because this is, we've got...
Okay. If he put Lewandowski, I'm going to crash out.
Haaland.
All right, there you
This one's
go.
worse. What are you
Yeah, it
doing
is,
to
yeah.
me?
Wow.
Okay, Alex, you put forward
There
your
you
argument
go.
first. Go on.
I'm going to put my argument first, actually. This one's really good, but if they're going on form, which I think they are, because Rudiger isn't in here, and Rudiger definitely should be in here if it's not on form. But if they're going on form, it's obviously Mbappe. And I'm thinking now that maybe they're not doing this one on form. In quality, in total, this is so tough. But we've seen these two play, and we've seen them this season. And I think Mbappe has shown that he's the superior one. And I think he's been the superior one. Even last season, I still think Haaland had a better season, but I just think that Mbappe is a better player. When you just look at the quality, I think of Mbappe, especially his technical ability and the way he plays, I just think it's so hard to not put him in. And I think he would go for Mbappe. As much as over Haaland, and as much as respect I have for Haaland, I just don't think he can win this one.
City haven't had their best season. They haven't. I'm not saying that. But also Mbappe started slow. I mean, sort of starting slow. What was he on? Probably 50 goals or something. But both of them haven't had their best season. But in terms of, if you set up a system to work for Erling Haaland, he will deliver you world-class Premier League, Champions League winning.
Set up a system to make Rasmus Højlund work. I hate this excuse that we're saying, Haaland, but he kind of has to work his way around things. And I think that just saying that when you put him in the perfect system, you could put anyone in the perfect system and they'll perform. Of course, Rasmus Højlund might be let's, forget about it. But I just wouldn't say that you can make that argument that if you put him in his best place, he'll work. So will Mbappe. If you put perfect conditions for Haaland and Mbappe, I think Mbappe will perform better.
Level as he's shown. That is all it is. Basically, if you play the system to him, he's a game-breaking, world-class centre forward. Unbelievable.
Okay.
So
Saying
patronising about that.
himself. You tried.
Mbappe, in a bad season, has got over 25 goals.
I thought it was 50, so fair.
And out of the 25 goals, over 60% of them are either winning goals or equalisers. He's been very impactful, even though he's having a bad season. His last 4 months, since December, when he came out and said, I have to be better, December, January, February, March.
I don't think that this has been a bad season though. I think that's kind of a stretch. It's not been incredible. Don't get me wrong, but saying that it's his bad season is kind of making it seem like he's messy. He's not. I don't know. Just kind of weird thing to say.
He's having a better 4-month stretch than Erling Haaland has done this whole season. Haaland started
That's
well,
true.
Yep.
Mbappe started bad. The last 5 months, this guy's they're one of the best. He is in contention for Ballon d'Or. Where is he?
Well, he's in a bad City team, is what he's in. But I still think, in terms of just pure quality, as a number 9, I still think he could go in the team. Look, I think we have to apply. Like, I'm not wishing to be disrespectful to La Liga, but I think the Premier League is a harder league.
Let's not do this now.
That's a whole other debate.
That's a whole
I
other
think we're
debate.
gonna
Agree.
get into.
Get us back on.
That is the biggest myth. I hate this narrative. Oh, La Liga is an easier league to score against. I mean, come on, really?
Okay, so if you put Alaves up against Aston Villa,
Marco Asensio are now scoring for fun in the Premier League.
I'm not being. I'm not saying La Liga's down here, but I'm saying I think the Premier League is harder. I think most people would say.
I completely disagree. If Arsenal playing, you guys complain about low blocks, low block this, low block that. Come and face the low block that we have in La Liga. You guys would not have it.
I feel like that's
Yeah.
a different argument, isn't it? We're
But-
going away
Back on.
from Haaland.
He puts City against Simeone's low block. Let's see how that one works out.
Very different players, obviously. Haaland and
got the
Mbappe.
stats.
We knew,
Aaron, do you want to make
we
the
knew what would
decision?
happen, didn't we? So we actually went to the stats team. Haaland 28 goals all comps this season. Mbappe 27 all comps. Just edges it, doesn't he? You're literally looking at me like I'm actually a bit scared. I don't know what to do.
You going Haaland?
When they needed
One more goal, mate.
just very quickly.
Go on.
Last argument. City and Real Madrid played in the playoffs.
There you
just
go.
earlier. Who scored a hat trick?
Go on, Harriet.
That's a great shout.
Who scored a
Your
hat trick?
decision.
Okay.
And he didn't even start, by the way.
The final argument plus the evils, you're having it.
Fair enough. Right, there it is. There is confirmation. Wow.
Is there not an Arsenal player in that team, man? Can I have Saliba if you're pushing that Holland Pedro?
Get your Saliba out of here, bro. We do not need your Saliba, bro. Kubarsi is a baller, bro. Do not put Saliba in here, please.
Can I have Saliba, please?
Okay, no, we're not switching it. There is
No,
confirmation
there we
then
go. Wow.
of our ultimate Premier League and La Liga 11.
I think that actually was a really, really good video. Very quality video. Shout out to Sky Sports. Do not copyright me, please. Yeah, great video. And make sure you guys like and subscribe. What do you guys think? Do you agree with this lineup? Personally, I think I'd make some changes, but I think it's actually a fair representation. As always, I would love if you guys liked, share, subscribe, drop a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.